Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to the Not So Daily Show. The show that comes to you daily, except when it doesn't. I'm your host, Themba Kevin. To my right, we've got my friend and political analyst, Themba Maluleke. Good day, brother. And to my left, we've got my other good friend and business partner, Titelo Blaze. Now, guys, I'm not even going to beat around the bush. I would have loved to start the show with some jokes today, but given what just transpired with the eNCA saga, we're going to go straight into the Lindsay Dentlinger video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check this out.
Let's get more reaction to the story now. Lindsay Dentlinger is in Parliament.
It's up to him now to take the offer up.
Thank you very much, John. Quickly, Koleko Shengwa, please keep your mask on, though, Koleko. From the I, thank you very much, Mr. Peter Groenewald from the Freedom Front Plus. If I can ask Mr. Kwankwa there from the UDM, please can you keep your mask on, sir? Sorry to step on up.
Today, our reporter, Lindsay Dentlinger, is now outside court in Cape Town to tell us more. Good morning, Lindsay.
Sorry, Mr. Bonga, can I just ask you to put your mask on before you continue? We are trying to respect COVID-19 protocols and set a good example. Over your nose too, please, sir. Thank you. Sorry, as you were saying.
I think there were two major disappointments, Lindsay, I'm afraid.
Yeah, interesting. We're going to leave it right there. Lindsay Dentlinger.
Like I said, guys, we're going to go straight into it. I think the question that I have and what everybody has is that could have this been unconscious bias, a mistake, or is it just plain racism?
I mean, look, when you're calling it unconscious bias, we're just making an excuse for it, right? We all saw the videos, especially the ones that people had put together of all the different people that she was interviewing right there at Parliament. We had the guy from FF+, we had Steenhuisen from DA, and we had the two guys, one from UDM, and the other guy, just forgot what his name is.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Bro, same.
Yeah.
I feel like it's too much.
Yeah.
I feel like whether or not it's unconscious, whether it's plain, whatever, the result is the same. It's racism. And whoever is on the receiving end of it is receiving it the same, whether it's intentional or not. So I feel like the problem is clear and it needs to be addressed.
Definitely. I have to agree with Blaze there. And I mean, I did read a statement from eNCA last night, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about how she was taking instructions from her producer in her ear, to tell them to put the mask on, whatnot. So that same producer, whoever it is, right, that faceless producer, was, telling her to actually tell the other white guests to put on their masks. Yeah. If that is the case, I don't know, but I don't buy it.
Speaking of eNCA, right? eNCA has come up with a statement saying that Lindsay is not racist. They don't believe that she's racist because she has been in the business for 21 years and she's never practiced COVID-19 discrimination until 2019, which I think is the same logic that Trump was using when he said the Obama administration didn't even have a test for the coronavirus.
Okay. Now look, we're last, meaning we're first.
Last? I don't know what we're first in.
Jonathan, we didn't even have a test. When I took over, we didn't even have a test. Now, in all fairness,
why would you have a test?
There was no test.
The virus
for
didn't
this.
exist.
I mean, why would they, guys? I haven't even gotten 3 speeding tickets in the last year, and I'm not the best driver. But if you caught 3 times since we had COVID started last year, March, it hasn't even been a year, and you've been caught doing that 3 times. It can't be a mistake.
And I mean, that's only 3 times that we've seen.
it.
They don't. We don't see all the interviews they conduct on TV. So
And
actually know.
the challenge to eNCA was that if this is really just people seeking out to catch you out, then show us the videos when this is not happening. And none of those videos have come out. So for me, it's just I don't believe it. I think there is no way. It's 3 times, bro.
The more I think about it, it's hard to think about it as unconscious. It's too blatant, bro. And the moment the white guest or the white speaker moves and the black one enters, then suddenly she's conscious of reminding them of masks.
Exactly. So I think I can believe maybe she's not racist. I think it's more unconscious bias, but I don't think it makes it better because so if in her head, right, subconsciously, when she's talking to a white person, COVID doesn't even come to her mind. She doesn't think I can get sick. When the black guy comes, she's like, oh fuck, COVID exists. That's for me. That's no better than Trump calling it the China virus, because that's
But you see, when you put it like that, right, you're making excuses for them. That's what I look at it
What,
as.
the unconscious
Yeah,
but I don't think it's better. I think unconscious bias is even worse. Because if somebody is racist, they can hide it, right?
Yes.
If they can like move around and be like, oh, I noticed that. But if somebody's just inherently thinks, if they see, like, it's just like when like white people see a black person walk past and they lock their doors. I don't think they think about that's a black person. It's just in their head, which means like if you're working in journalism for 21 years and you still, your mind still works like that subconsciously, that's scary.
That's my point. There is no excuse for someone who works in journalism for 21 years, interacting with black politicians, black people on a regular, whether you're out in the field, wherever you are. She's also a, what do you call it, a writer also. So I mean, she's covered a lot of stories around black people. After 21 years and you still have those inherent things entrenched into you now, man.
I mean, I think to your point, it's definitely possible for it to be unconscious because you've just been going along in your career, not realizing, reassessing. But it just means that these institutions need to do some kind of work internally.
And I just wonder like what type of unconscious bias she was practicing before COVID, because like now COVID just brought that on the forefront. And speaking of COVID, and I don't know if these ones are unconscious or not, if you're following American news, you might have learned of the term Karen. And if you don't know what a Karen is, watch these videos. So I've heard of a few Karens, from the courtside Karen that had the altercation with LeBron James to a few other Karens.
She's being called courtside Karen after getting into a heated courtside exchange with LeBron James.
Just talk to my husband like that. Listen, let me tell you, LeBron James looked at my husband during the game and cussed him out, and I stood up and I go, don't talk to my husband. Talk to my husband one more time and I will you up.
LeBron added the following quote, "I thought I was talking to a father and daughter until she started calling him husband. I was stunned."
There's an epidemic in this country that's spiraling out of control.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to me.
And I'm taking a picture showing the clock.
Women across the country lashing out, flying off the handle, set off by problems great and small. Mostly small.
And you're not wearing a mask. Can you step away?
Can you show me your papers?
That man harassed me for not wearing a mask. I have a breathing problem.
I have a right to my pizza.
Now, watching all these videos, I've always wondered what a South African Karen would look like. And we finally found out. And she took it straight to third base.
What's going on?
Well, personally, I find it acceptable. It is a mask. Yes, I know. And quite frankly, I think the bacteria on your neck is less than on the mask. Yeah. The bacteria on the mask is less than her knickers. So, hey, well done to you.
At least she was following precautions, COVID precautions. She did what they asked.
I guess she was literally trying to get shit-faced.
Ready for that one?
But let's move on to billionaire Nyaope boy Jay Z. If you're on social media, you might have seen some of your favorite celebrities, including myself, hint hint, nudge nudge, post about the Jay Z LVMH deal. Now, Jay Z sold 50% of his popular champagne brand Armand de Brignac, popularly known as Ace of Spades, to the LVMH group. Now, LVMH stands for Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, which is just some of the brands they own.
This morning, Moet Hennessy announcing that it's going to be acquiring a 50% stake in luxury champagne brand Armand de Brignac. It's also known as Ace of Spades. The brand was popularized and created by Grammy-winning artist and businessman Jay Z, who owns it and will retain a 50% ownership stake alongside Moet. Philippe, I'll ask you the same question. Why this brand? Why did you come to Jay Z?
Well, this brand is in the field of prestige champagnes, which is a very attractive category, in which we have already several brands like Dom Pérignon or Krug. But of course, what Armand de Brignac did, or what Jay Z did with this brand, is really creating a new market of its own, at the very high level, high prestige level of the category, touching new consumers, bringing new consumers to the world of champagne, with a very disruptive way of marketing, of bringing the product across. And that brand became a huge success, and we have been observing it for the last few years.
So now, Ace of Spades has officially joined the family of brands such as Moet, Verve, Christian Dior, to name a few.
The creation of LVMH in 1987 was comprised of a merger of 3 luxury brands. Number 1 is Louis Vuitton. Number 2 is Moet and Chandon. This company also owns Dom Perignon. And number 3 is Hennessy. Once LVMH had been solidified, it went on to acquire dozens of the world's most influential brands over the coming decades.
So, if you don't know the story behind how Ace of Spades started, in 2006, Jay-Z, well before 2006, Jay-Z and other popular hip-hop artists were huge supporters of the brand Cristal. Cristal was the most popular champagne of the time, until I think the CEO or part of the ownership was asked how he feels about hip-hop artists drinking the brand. And his answer was, well, we can't stop them. Yeah.
And I think he said something like, the other brands can have their business.
About a decade ago, The Economist interviewed the director of the company that makes Cristal champagnes, one of the most expensive champagnes in the world, favored by Russian czars over history. He was asked, what did he think about all these rappers drinking Cristal champagne? And he basically said, well, we can't forbid people from buying it. Not exactly a ringing endorsement of a new customer base. He thought that rappers didn't read The Economist, but he was wrong. Jay-Z heard about his comments. He removed it from his 40/40 club, and more importantly, he started issuing this sort of directive to his fans not to drink it either. And instead of rapping about Cristal, he put his money where his mouth was. He ended up investing in and eventually taking over a French champagne brand called Armand de Brignac, aka Ace of Spades.
So what Jay-Z did is that he went and bought part of Ace of Spades and later the whole company. So now with LVMH buying 50% of Ace of Spades joins those popular brands that I mentioned, such as Moet, Verve, as one of the top brands in the world. In champagne, it's part of the family. But the question that I have is that before this deal happened, right, Ace of Spades in the clubs, especially like in popular culture, was the only champagne that wasn't owned by the LVMH group that you'd see on these bottles, on these tables, right? So does Jay-Z selling 50% of that company help the black community, or does it further set it back by making the white man, which in this case is Bernard Arnault, which is the 4th richest man in the world and the richest man in Europe, even richer? How do you guys feel? Did Jay-Z sell out, or was this a good business deal?
First and foremost, guys, Jigga's a businessman. He's a businessman, right? Makes business sense in terms of the distribution channels that a group, the Hennessy group, actually has. Now, we had access to Ace of Spades. I mean, those that can afford it, right?
You know how much it is? 6,000 rand in a bottle store.
In a bottle store, exactly. But I mean, how many bottle stores can you find it in? Yeah. Now they'll be able to tap into that network, the distribution channels that the group already has. Yeah. Now that might mean for Jay-Z that he might reach places he could not have reached before if he was doing it alone. Yeah. So even if you're looking from a sellout point of view, I think it was more of a business decision than selling out. Yeah. I don't know what you think.
I think for me, before you come, I think the thing with Jay-Z is that I hold him to higher regard and higher standards because his brand is built around helping black people. Yeah. I mean, now he's busy with the whole McMill thing, which people think is out of like his good heart, but it's also brought a lot of popularity to him. And I didn't want to start with the NFL deal where he was the first person to be like, let's support Colin Kaepernick. And then when the NFL tried to book him to perform at the halftime show, he's like, nah, let me take over the whole halftime show. And he's making a big bag from that.
But I mean, okay, look at it this way, right? This past Super Bowl, the national anthem was black person, halftime entertainment was a black person, the entertainment after was a black person. Black Twitter was the first to come out and say, yo, black excellence, black excellence, yeah. You know, but they were the same people who were quick to say after the whole Kaepernick thing,
they were angry at Jay-Z.
So now, if we look at it that way, we're sitting in a situation where, fast forward a couple of years later, we've got the same black people who were saying he sold out, now celebrating the people that he actually gave a platform to. You know, under normal circumstances, those guys would not have been there.
I think this thing is tricky because when you look at these artists, we obviously always want to, because they are like our ideal selves, we want to hold them to certain standards and we want them to move in ways that reflect how we would move. Right? Especially when they make stands first, like you said, Jay-Z made a stand against certain moves and then we followed suit. So I think that what we often forget when we see those kind of things is what you said, is that first and foremost, they're out for themselves. Not in a selfish way, but in the sense that just like any other person, Jay is a businessman. The Weeknd is a musician. So when Jay sees a business opportunity that makes sense for him and, you know, his legacy, his kids, whatever, it makes sense for him. But I think also it gives him more power, for sure, more not profit, but more capital rather, to reinvest in black projects or black communities. But at the same time, I wanted to make the same point about the Weeknd is that, you know, he might, I don't know how the Weeknd feels about the Super Bowl, but at the end of the day, it was a bag for him and an opportunity to perform on the biggest stage.
Now, my point is, right, if Jigga didn't do the deal with the NFL,
it wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened.
We
wouldn't be sitting in a situation now where the entertainment at the Super Bowl is all black.
Wait, remind me, what was the deal again?
He does the entertainment for the whole entertainment.
Like he's running
the entertainment.
Rock Nation.
Rock
Nation runs books and
entertainment.
It's a huge bag.
It's a huge deal.
The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is the biggest market advertising pulling show in the world, and like the way Jay Z has made it so black, man. Like this year, he even had Chiefs versus Amabagabag for the Super Bowl. He even made it a Soweto derby like this year. So, you know, like he said that it doesn't matter. You can take the backlash for a bit, but at the end of the day, it's going to push the black community forward. You know.
Martina said it best. I'll just go read it on Instagram. His mother-in-law, I mean, she said it best. He took the backlash, like you said, for progress. You know, for black entertainers to get into those spaces where, you know, there have been Lady Gaga doing that halftime show with the viewers that they have. But now you've got the Weeknd doing that show.
See, I didn't know that was the deal. So that actually does make sense in hindsight.
Exactly.
Yeah, because now he's got control of...
Exactly. The same people who are quick to call him out saying he's a sellout are the same people now quick to celebrate those people that are performing, but no one is reflecting.
I think also the reality is that Jay is one of a few people in the world who can get into certain rooms and certain positions that we can't, and he can make those moves for the, more black people to, you know, to progress, to get in those rooms as well. So in the long run, it should be good. We'll see.
No, I agree with you guys. You guys have made very good points, but yeah, it's just like his opportunities are always where like black people are taken advantage of.
Wait, but with this, how?
With what?
With
the Super Bowl
champagne deal.
Oh, with the champagne deals,
Or you mean with other things?
Yeah, well, I feel like the champagne deal is also a bit like that. It's not like being taken advantage of, but you know, people have said that champagne, flashy lifestyle, that's a black man's weakness. You know, and now you're taking that black man's weakness to throw it
Friday today. Another pop cheapest bottles,
So now when you pop it, it's like 50% is great.
My man,
it's a lot.
I'm only gonna drink the top half of Eiffel Spades. Spill out the rest. Drink why not? Drink the Jay Z part.
What if you're spilling the Jay Z part? Bro, you never know.
But in any case, guys, that has been our show for today. As always, let us know what you think of the topics. Weigh in on the topics in the comments below. I'd like to know if you guys agree with them that, you know, that was just a good business move, or you guys agree with me that, well, I think Jay Z sold out a little bit there. You know, I think Jay Z sold out a little bit there. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. And as always, guys, we are shooting at Seam Coffee today. You guys just need to check the spot out, man. This place is just too amazing. But until next week, guys, don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, or whoever you run into to subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned. Cheers.